Joining me now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. He voted in favor of the debt ceiling bill. He was a big part of the behind-the-scenes negotiations. Senator Manchin, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Hey, Chuck, good to be with you.
So let me start. How much credit do you give President Biden for making this happen?
I give everybody credit. I think you've said it well. I've been listening to what you've been saying, and I think you hit it, you nailed it. Both sides had to come together. I think that I give Kevin McCarthy and his team a tremendous amount of credit for doing what people thought he couldn't do. He got a bill out of the House, sent it over to the Senate, got things started. President Biden did what he must do and what he does and can do best, is bring people together, use this bipartisanship. But, you know, 90 days ago we could have started this, but, you know, the extremes on both sides are pushing you further away than basically giving you encouragement to come together. That's what we've got to basically eliminate, Chuck. But I was proud of both of them. I was proud of the House Democrats that, like Hakeem Jeffries leading, coming and working with Kevin McCarthy and his team to basically get it out of rules. When the rules went to the floor, took the Democrats to move the bill, and then together they voted and passed it. On the Senate side, we had House Republicans and Democrats working together, knowing that we had to avert this crisis. But why do we always come down to this brinkmanship at the end? It's just not right. It's not who we are.
You're asking me a question that I was going to sort of put to you, but let me ask it this way. Realistically, is bipartisanship probably dead till November 2024 now? You know, are we going to be entering a period where everybody has to put on the jerseys?
Well, I sure hope not. We've been able to show that we can do something when we have to. We have to have a permitting process now that basically encumbers everything. We've touched on that in this bill. We have some permitting reforms that were done, but we need an awful lot more. If you're going to have the energy security our country needs, you're going to have to be able to build the infrastructure, whether it's the pipelines or whether it's the transmission lines. We have to have an all-in policy, but we've got to be energy independent to be secure, Chuck.
Look, the big thing you got out of this...
That could be a big win for all of us.
Look, the big thing you got out of this is this Mountain Valley pipeline provision, and a lot of Democrats not happy with it. The timely completion, let me just read from the text of the bill, the timely completion of construction and operation of the Mountain Valley pipeline is required in the national interest. I found something interesting that you said to Politico. You said being undecided about running for re-election helped make this happen, that somehow if you were already a candidate for re-election, you seem to think that this wouldn't have happened. Why is that?
Well, Chuck, I think that basically this system is so toxic anymore that whenever you are an announced candidate for anything, you're absolutely basically cannon fodder for the other side. I mean, everybody wants 51. Politics have basically taken over the control versus the policies and basically the responsiveness that we should have. My purpose is to have progressive movements to where we're doing something that helps the economy, that helps the people, helps security. I don't put politics in front. A lot of people do. It's about politics. Mine's about policy and basically performing for my country and my state. So I'm not going to be worried about polls and all this other stuff when I have a purpose to perform. I've got to perform.
Does getting this pipeline, does this make you feel as if you now have a case for re-election that you can make that might be able to win?
Well, what it does, it basically gives West Virginia a tremendous opportunity to provide the energy security our nation needs. West Virginia is an energy juggernaut. We've got fossil fuels. We do it cleaner and better than anywhere in the world. We have, in the Carolinas, we have people paying 10 times more whenever there's any weather interruptions. They're paying 10 times more than we do in West Virginia, and they're right next door. You've got to be able to deliver that energy, Chuck, and that's what we're doing. So this has been a tremendous win for the West Virginia. I've been spearheading this thing from day one. I've taken all the bullets, you know that. I've taken all the spears on this, and the bottom line is we got it accomplished.
You know, it's interesting to me that in many of these bills that you've been in the middle of, right, you've actually been working with Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer. Are you surprised Mitch McConnell spending so much of his political activity trying to convince you not to run for re-election? Does that make it harder to work with Republicans?
It doesn't make it harder for me. I understand this is not the most honorable profession. It's a shame to say that, and it's supposed to be the most honorable profession when you can provide services to the people that you represent. But when you have to fight your own colleagues to try to do your job, it makes it pretty tough. When I said sometimes they put politics, I think that Mitch is in the position where it's all about, if I've observed, politics first, protecting his caucus. 51 votes is what his determination is. And with that, sometimes policy doesn't get the benefit. Mine's about the policy end of it. If we can do something good, I don't care who takes credit, because I can't do it by myself. There's no way we could pass any of this without the help of the other side. So I look at it differently, and then also my oath to the Constitution. So my performance for my state and my oath to the Constitution more than takes care of everything I'm supposed to do versus the politics.
Before I let you go,
with 51 on either side.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I know you've been flirting with the No Labels movement. They're on the air right now with an ad trying to get on the ballot in Maine. I want to play a clip of it and ask you about it on the other side.
Sure.
Blind loyalty is the opposite of choice, and choice is what real democracy is all about. No Labels was formed to unite Democrats, Republicans, and independents to solve our country's biggest problems, bringing more choices to voters and more voices to the national conversation.
I understand the message there and this idea of trying to bring folks together, but let me ask you this. Didn't President Biden just sort of perform as No Labels wanted him to? By bringing people together and
I think that basically the results, Chuck, the results that you saw there was Joe Biden working with Kevin McCarthy taking the lead and pushing it over. So, okay, let's sit down and get serious. Should it come to the brinksmanship the last day or the last few days? No. What the movement of No Labels has done, which I think has been admirable, is basically saying there is a middle. There's more people in the silent majority of the middle that have no voice whatsoever. So they're forced to their respective corners, far left and far right. They're not comfortable there. They're showing that now there's a place in the middle, and if the middle can basically show you can't go to the left, you're not going to get elected, and you're not going to govern from there. Decisions are made from the middle.
What I'm
so that
curious,
was my friend Joe Lieberman on that.
Well, I'm curious, though, does it make you less interested in running for president if Joe Biden's moving to the middle like this?
Chuck, the bottom line is, let me just talk about what's going on right now with what happened on the debt ceiling. Don't you think that we should have a risk evaluation of where we are as a country on finances? Don't you think we should have a risk management team the same as banks are supposed to have risk managers? Can't we do something to prevent this on a daily basis versus a crisis with the last minute? So on that being said, how are we governed? You can't continue to be pushed to the left and pushed to the right. Stay in that middle and pull people back to the middle.
It's notable that you're not ready to sign off that Joe Biden's been moving to the middle. You don't buy it?
Well, this here, I think Joe Biden, that's his inherent who he is. He's been pushed to the far left, and that far left is not basically where the country is. And the far right is not where the country is. Coming back to the middle, then we can continue to bring people to the middle and do our job.
All right.
That's where it's going to be, the decisions will be made.
Sounds like I got a few more months before I'll get you to answer a straightforward political question. So I'll let you go.
We're still working, Chuck. That's why That's why I like coming on with you.
Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.